So I'm going for a walk down the street. I kind of want to relax and clear my head a little. I'm so glad that I find walks relaxing. But I should possibly think or consider getting a bike so that I can practice riding a bike. If that's one of the ways I'm gonna be transporting in the future. I think it's a good idea to get a bike. Don't know if I packed my water. Oh, yes, I did. It's down there. It must be like 35 degrees. And it feels like it's 30, at least 30 degrees. It doesn't feel like it's not hot. These pants that I'm wearing, the green ones, they're kind of thick. They're not really summer pants. They're half suede and half material. So they're kind of okay. I mean, they're kind of cool without being like really lightweight. But in the summer, when it gets like 30-something degrees, you have to admit it gets a little hot and not a very good temperature to walk around in. But it is the afternoon, and so yeah, so it is the afternoon, so it's not going to be that hot. Hopefully it's not like a public holiday or something. I'd hate to walk into town with the aspiration that it's a normal day and then it be a public holiday. I think it's a public holiday of Friday. I don't think it's a public holiday today. Friday is when there's something going on. But not today. Hopefully. So cute. So, yeah, I wanted to get a little bit of relief. I noticed the other person was edgy. And to make matters worse, it's so hot. I feel I personally get nauseated, but they personally get edgy. Like they're the only one feeling the heat. But the moods do change in the wake of heat, especially when it's suddenly hot and it hasn't been that kind of hot for quite a while, like last season. It just hits you. I personally get nauseated, I get headaches, and I have to open the windows. Otherwise, I'll feel very uncomfortable. I didn't think I would do any work on the computer today. But I ended up doing what I was supposed to do. I didn't think I was gonna do very much work because I sat down at the computer and became nauseated. And I was like, I don't want to work on the computer. I don't want to do anything. I want to put the fan on and lounge around. I personally sometimes think the other person is going to guts. I said yesterday for them to turn the light off and they exit the kitchen, and then they spent the whole evening sitting under candlelight looking at their phone. And I was like, well, I didn't mean not use electricity. I just meant that they're continuously leaving a little light on, and ages ago they did the same thing and it hiked up the electricity bill because a little light that's supposed to be on for like the duration of cooking, if you keep that on for hours, it soaks up a lot of energy. And that's what I remember. So I'm like, turn the lights off when you're not using the room. And then they just swung into the deep end and we're like, oh, I'm sitting by candlelight to not use electricity. Generally that's fine, but when they're staring at their phone in the dark, you know that they're going to experience eye strain. And then you're like, well, that's not really what I meant. But if you want to swing into the deep end, I don't care. All I meant was turn the kitchen light off instead of keeping it on for illumination. Like, turn on a candle in the kitchen for illumination if you want to watch TV at night and not use this tiny little light that possibly drinks up a decent amount of electricity. That's all I was saying. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I just leave them to do whatever they like. But every day or every second day, it's like some sort of knockiness, some sort of negativity, some really sour-toned remark, and you're like, you know, goes with the swing of wanting you out of the house. But unless they tell you you went out of the house today, you have to go seek emergency services and, you know, find out more about that. Like, they said I have a year to move out, and now it's like a knocky something negative every couple of days comes out, and it's like, I mean, there's such a thing as general politeness without being like over the top polite, just like, you know, but it's usually their way of, oh, you're not wanted here, I gotta make you feel uncomfortable until you're out. And but I just think to myself, you know, this has to be the end of it. It has to be like breaking point and put everyone on a block and end it all. Well, this is just plainly rude, and I find a lot of things rude, but everyone finds you rude too. But just sick of these dumb associations constantly wanting some kind of relief from these situations. You're like, yeah. But I guess after this time I'll try and do my best to float, but it's really hard to float when the world's set up to make you sink. So you're like, well, hopefully it'll be better than, you know, the 600 other times you've moved out. Anyway, I'm posting my letter. It's a CD set. Didn't really meet expectations, but what I'm doing is just getting rid of things. And I wanted to go for a walk too, to once again relax, get some fresh air. I wanted indoor plant mix from my new spider plants, of which the other person wants to keep two of the three. But I just used normal soil today. I'll keep monitoring them. If they struggle, I'll just take them out and start go buy some normal soil or order it off the internet. I kept open the page that has the order form, so if it's an internet order I want, good. Very rarely you meet snakes in this kind of litter, but it's actually like built and perfect to be hiding hungry snake. It's been on my mind quite a bit, like, snakes active in summer, I think so. And I think they sleep in the winter, so it's getting warmer. More likely to have snakes around. Saying that, I haven't met one yet. In the past, I've probably met 2 snakes on this road. And that was ages ago. In the time of the forgotten. I don't need to worry about swooping birds because I have my toot. And they don't really attack you if you've got something large on your behind your head. And even wearing a hat helps, like a wide brim hat. I've got a semi-wide brim material hat, and it does good enough to protect you from the sun. I definitely like it more than a cap, because when I wear a cap, last time I wore a cap, my ears burned. And I'm like, yes, you forget to put sun cream on your ears when you haven't worn a cap in a while. But generally, a mid-range hat is good. Straw hats are good. Material hats are generally better. They're usually more protected. Straw hats, the sun can get through the little holes in the hat, and your head can still get burned or something or other, but they're nice and stiff, and they offer your whole chest good shade coverage, in the back of your head good shade coverage, but sometimes your head can still get burnt when wearing a straw hat which has holes in it. I used to wear a crocheted or woven straw hat, and that usually helped to keep your head sun safe. But the ones with little holes in it, though, they're not always as protected. And I have never worn a headless hat, so one that just rims your face and doesn't have a cover in the back, and you put your ponytail through it really easily. I haven't worn one of those hats since 1990 something because they're typically the most useless hat that you can buy on the market. They are only just better than wearing no hat, so your face might not get as burnt, but your head will. I used to wear them and get like a head burn, and they used to peel and get red and sore, have trouble brushing my hair. There's other types of hats that I would not likely to buy ever. I usually just get by on a nice wide brim hat or a soft wide brim hat, which is what I have now, which works good enough, and you can wash it. I like the material because you can wash it. Or a straw hat and a cap. Those sorts of hats are usually safe. I did wear a bucket hat at some stage, but it's not really that great. They're cute, but they're not that great. Not when you're meeting a summer sun. And of course, if you're living in a weather-prone zone, it's good to get a weather hat, so one that can, that is windproof and rainproof. That's the other kind of hat that I might buy. Look at that view. Oh, there's something smoky over there. I'm gonna miss the view of the country when I move someplace else. I'm most likely going to be moving close to a city, but not sure. I might not move as close as I imagine, because it's supposed to be quite expensive. I haven't looked at prices in a week, but it's supposed to be pretty expensive. So I'll just keep persevering. I'm yet to ask the real estate a little bit of a rundown of areas that are good to live, ones that are more affordable, ones that are fit for or safe. And I haven't done that yet. I was supposed to do it like 2 weeks ago. Every time I get home, I'm like, I forget to do it. It's probably a good idea to do it. Like, ask how many months of employment you should have before applying for rentals. But I have had 3 days of good luck this week, and I'm like, let me have a whole week of good luck and have it explode. I'll be like, yeah, I know I can do whatever I like. But I still get very confused about where I should live. I just don't feel comfortable anywhere, and they kick me out of places that I feel more comfortable. So I'm like, just ambiguously just distorted. Not sure about it. Because I get to the point where I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just meeting repeatedly same circumstance I've met before. I'm a little clueless because I meet the same thing over and again, and nothing, no alternative option makes it any better. Like I might take an alternative route and it will be like a short-term option as opposed to a long-term option. Renting is possibly one of the more stable alternative routes, but I've had really bad renting experiences. So I'm going to be like, no, don't rent from this vendor or that vendor. Try and rent from another vendor or so. I might even have to make a mind map or a list of vendors I tried, vendors that suck. And I'm like, I keep being encouraged to try particular vendors, but sometimes they're like, no, you can't rent with us, or other people have obtained a rental over you. And then you're like, if you're seriously needing a rental, you'll go to an alternative option. And that's an ambiguous outcome there. And then when you have a negative experience, they're like, I told you to, rent from this organization because it's the best. And like, apply and they won't let you in. And then you're like, really? Back to seeking the alternative vendors. I know I'm meeting a lot of negativity right now, but I'm kind of like somewhat optimistic about being knowledgeable. I mean, the optimistic is obviously set before you cut strings and let sail, and then you're like, yeah, well, this optimism might sink very quickly, and then it'll go back to this drawn out sensation of struggling. But I should be able to cope with it, okay, because it's not a new experience. It's something that I've met before, so I have to use my brain a little bit more and a bit more wise to try and avoid struggling. But you just don't know. That sound is that bag there. I thought it was a duck at first, and then I was like, oh no, it's just my bag. There's some landscaping advice. I don't know if bushes should be right on the side of the road though. It kind of seems like a bad move because, I guess if there's no parking it might be okay, but they might get damaged by cars. They grow widely. You're like, that's kind of silly. There's some more landscaping. I think that's called a phototenia or something. A red beef bush, but I could be totally wrong. I know I got seeds for something like that, but it didn't grow anything red. It grew nut bush. Chinese nut bush. And you're like, that nut bush doesn't look like it's any good. It didn't even turn into a nut bush. It didn't turn into those knuckle-headed nuts. It's just like a weed. It's possible it's a weed, but it looks like a nut bush, but it has seeds, not nuts. Like it has seeds, like seed pods, not knuckled, hard, crusted seed pods. So it might not even be a nut bush, it might just be a weed. I keep being told that a lot of phone booths, particularly ones in near cities, have Wi-Fi now, so you can literally if you don't have any Wi-Fi left, you can literally stand in a phone booth and get like free Wi-Fi or something. So I'm almost there.